a hard time believing that a majority of the space on that road was actually wide open. However, because lanes are so much wider than cars and we have to leave such a great distance in between our cars, on average, about 92% of the space on a crowded highway is wide open because people need such a large margin of error in controlling their vehicles. As I mentioned in my first speech, human drivers do not have perfect control over their vehicles because steering only approximates the movements of a car. A driver's vision is blocked by the car itself. And finally, because people have a tendency to multitask while behind the wheel. I have now extensively researched the field of automobile robotics, in addition to the research I did before my first presentation, and it has led me to believe that cars that are equipped with robotic capabilities can make driving safer and more controlled. Specifically, I would like to talk about how robotic technologies in cars can improve safety, a driver's vision, and a driver's control, and finally, how reliable these systems will be. First, let's take a look at how robotic technologies in cars can improve the safety of our vehicles. New robotic features can improve the safety flaws in older, less effective systems. According to Sebastian Freund, the lead scientist of the robotic car research team at Stanford, adaptive cruise control enables sensors to maintain a steady distance between cars rather than maintaining a steady speed. In this illustration, the red car is using adaptive cruise control, and it travels at a steady pace until it approaches a slower moving vehicle, at which point the red car's speed is automatically decreased to maintain a safe distance between the two vehicles. Now, even when adaptive cruise control is not being used, these sensors are still active and can alert the car when a collision is likely. When the collision is likely, the collision warning systems can set off alarms or lights to let the driver know of the danger. And when the driver hits the brake, the car can actually electronically assist in braking to bring the car to a stop as safely and quickly as possible. In addition to making cars safer for their drivers, robotic technologies can improve a driver's vision. Cameras and sensors can extend a driver's vision to areas that were previously blocked. This picture shows the camera and sensor system of a 2010 Ford Taurus. The area highlighted in yellow shows the region that can be seen in any car just using the rear and the side view mirrors. This area in green, however, can also be seen by the driver of this car thanks to a rear view camera that monitors that area directly behind the car and shows that image on a screen on the driver's dashboard. Now, this car can also monitor these areas highlighted in red thanks to sensors that will detect any cars in that region. So even if the driver cannot see oncoming cars approaching, he will still know that they are there. In addition to improving a driver's visibility, these robotic technologies can extend a driver's control of their vehicle. By giving a car robotic technologies, it can assist the driver in achieving complete control over the car. Lane departure warning systems can direct a car that is veering out of its lane back into the lane safely. The top path here shows the direction that a car would travel in as the driver is accidentally drifting out of their lane. But the bottom curve shows the path that the car will actually follow because the lane departure warning system automatically directs the car back into its own lane. In an article on intelligent cars by artificial intelligence expert David Lewin, it is said that a third of automobile accidents in the United States are caused by drivers accidentally leaving their own lane of a roadway, which means that this one technology alone could prevent up to a third of the crashes in our country. Now that we've seen how some robotic technologies work, you may be wondering how reliable these systems are. Consumers might be concerned that the computers that control these robotic systems could crash. However, tests have been extremely successful. In the worst-case scenario that these computer systems did crash, the car would simply be reverted to the sort of car we're used to driving today without robotic technologies. A computer crash would not detrimentally harm the car's ability to function normally. However, it's extremely unlikely that the car would ever be in this situation in the first place, because although new to cars, most of these robotic technologies have been around for many years, allowing scientists plenty of time to develop and perfect them. A lot of the same technologies are utilized in the autopilot function of airplanes, which according to a 2001 study by NASA is more than 99.999% reliable. And that technology has only improved over the past 8 years. So as you can see, consumers really have very little to worry about in terms of these robotic systems failing to operate as intended. Robotic systems have the ability to improve the way we drive in many different ways. Updated safety features can provide convenience to the driver while simultaneously ensuring safety. Drivers will no longer have to worry about blind spots thanks to cameras and sensors that make all angles visible to the driver. Additionally, robotic technologies in cars can help a driver to achieve maximum control over their vehicle. I believe that due to the new implication of robotic technologies in cars, these cars will be able to help us all to be better drivers. As I mentioned in my previous speech, between 42 and 46,000 lives are lost in the U.S. alone every year in car crashes, and 1.2 million people die around the world. Studies show that these robotic technologies would be able to prevent a large percentage of these crashes from ever occurring. In addition, I believe that robotic technologies can help us better control our cars and can help us to be more aware of the road around us. Introducing robotic technologies in cars will make driving safer and save lives, and I hope you can all agree. Thank you.
All right, questions?
Oh, I called. Sorry.
You sort of talked about this, but I was thinking about the 16 and 17-year-old boys and girls who get into a car and the first car they get has this stuff. They're going to be so dependent on it that when it fails, they're not going to want to do. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I think that that's logical. Do you think that like there's going to be an alert system so they know it's failed, so they have to?
Oh, there would absolutely. If any system failed, you would be immediately aware. There are safety lights that come on in features such as that to notify the driver the system would no longer be functioning. But as I said, it's extremely unlikely that that would even happen. And also, if you think about advances that have already taken place in cars, I mean, back in the day, all cars used to be stick shifts and we wouldn't have the automatic. And it's okay that now a lot of us don't know how to drive a stick because we've just gotten used to it and we don't. It's okay that we can depend on that technology. And I think that this would be a similar case to that.
Yeah, Rob, go ahead.
The one side you talked about, like the departure from lane warnings or whatever. So what happens when you like make a turn or like
when you want to
a ramp or something?
When you put your turn signal on, it'll deactivate this.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right, some feedback for Julie. Some things you thought were strong about her presentation. Nate, thank you.
I really like that rebuttal point on the computers, like the failing of it. Because I was like wondering that the entire time. That was a good place for it.
Yeah, that was a really powerful final point because it answered the questions that the audience had. So yeah, you did that well. So that was a really strong point. That's a good comment. Yeah, great.
I thought you had very strong sources and you used statistics very well. They kind of reinforced your point very well, made your argument much stronger.
Yeah, particularly I thought the one that did that for me was the 1/3 of accidents are from a car leaving a lane. I don't know if that's kind of what yours, but that was the one that really stood out for me as really kind of providing some good evidence for why this might be necessary. Since that was quite strong. Good, one more thing. Yeah, thanks.
No, I thought your visual aids were great, and it definitely showed the improvement that you wanted to get at with the new technology.
Yeah, I thought the image that I really liked was the camera and the sensors one. That really showed. That was just a really powerful image. And great delivery. Again, really well prepared and good confident presence. What's something that Julie can improve on for next time? Bennett, thanks.
I thought the conclusion was really long. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just like while I was listening to it, I had the impression that I had heard all of this before.
Okay.
So I think you probably could have chopped it down by about a minute or so.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good comment. Just be be more concise because I think the most powerful information, do the recap, but then you have that good final appeal of the statistic of how many people could be saved. It seemed to take a long time. Like, the recap was there, I knew we were in the conclusion.
I think I added an extra sentence by accident, but it wasn't supposed to be quite so long.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there was kind of this point in the middle. I agree where I thought, are we there yet? Because it seemed like we started the conclusion, and there was sort of some time where it wasn't sure anything was happening, and then you got to the final appeal with the statistics about how many people, could be saved, that kind of thing, and so that was really, really strong. So, thank you.